What's up team, Brandon here. Today we're bringing you the resistance band lower body and core workout. We don't skip leg day, so we're going to get started. First, we're going to start with an abduction walk, which is really good for those muscles on the sides of your hip, towards that posterior part that are going to help moving the leg away from the midline. It's important to start with the abductors because those get tight over time and can lead to lower back problems, which can stem into upper back problems as well. And also just reducing the range of motion we have in our hips can hinder the entire leg workout. So we're going to start by priming the abductors. With the band walk, we're going to go 12 to 15 reps here, and that's going to be each leg. So we want to make sure we're firmly on the band. We're going to take a big step out, keeping the knee just slightly bent. Bring that other foot over and back. What we're looking for here is keeping the toes straight forward the whole time. If you start turning the toes out, two things are going to happen. One, it's going to turn into almost like a leg extension rather than an abduction walk. And two, your quads or your thigh muscles are going to be taking over rather than your abductors. So keep those toes pointed forward. Nice fast pace here, going 12 to 15 reps on each side. Immediately, when we're done with those, we're going to turn this into a squat. So we're going to go a little bit wider with the stance, tighten that resistance band up. We're going to bring the handles back over the shoulders. We're going right down, breathe in, on the way down, out on the way up. Going 12 to 15 reps here as well. When we're done with those 12 to 15 reps of the squat, we're going to give ourselves about 30-45 seconds of rest and then go through that one 2 more times. So it's going to be 3 sets total. So we got the abductors working with the band walk. We have our quads and glutes ready to work with those squats. So we're going to go into something a little more complex. We're going to do a single leg RDL with the band. So with the band, we're going to lay it down, kind of fully stretch out. We want to take our foot and bring it about a foot in from the handle. So RDL stands for Romanian deadlift. Basically, it's like a stiff leg deadlift with a slight bend at the knee. So what we're going to do here is just hinge kind of at the hips. We're going to keep our leg that's going back as straight as we can, really focus on hip extension. So kicking that leg out, keeping it straight while feeling that tension and that pull in our hamstring. So we're going down, feel that tension, and then come right back up. If you want to make it hard, don't let your heel touch the ground. But we're keeping the back straight, driving through those hips, squeezing the glutes as we push forward, but making sure that we're using the hamstrings to bring us up and fighting that resistance. So going 8 to 10 reps there. And once we're done with that, we're going to go into a single leg glute extension with the band. So this one is going to be a little weird getting set up, so just bear with me. We want our feet to go through both of these straps, or both of the handles. And it's really important that you're locked in good, nice and tight with these, and then you're keeping your toes pointed down while we do this. So I'm going to just rotate here. I'm going to bring my arm up kind of by my shoulder, and then I'm going to press straight back, squeeze the glute as we come down. So if you need to, if balance is an issue, you can go by a countertop or something that you can hold onto, a door frame, just to help with stabilizing. But this is really good for the glutes. We're focusing on driving back, really extending that leg back and out as we go. With these, we're going to go a little bit higher rep here, 10 to 12 on each side. And then once we're done with those, we're going to go about 30-45 seconds of rest. All right, guys, our third set is going to start off with a reverse lunge. We're going to get set up pretty much just like we were with the squat, except this time we're just going to have one foot on the bands. So that one foot's going to go right in the center. We're going to bring those bands up and behind the shoulders. And then all we're going to do is set back, drop straight down. We want to keep that knee behind the front toes. Coming back up. Similar with the squat, the breathing pattern here, we're breathing in on the way down, breathing out on the way up. Going 8 to 12 reps here, a little bit wider of a rep range because these can fatigue you a little bit more, and your quads are going to be a little bit sore from doing the squats already. So for the trunk extensions, we're just going to need something sturdy that we can wrap our band around. If you have that door stopper, the door attachment, you can use that as well. But not everybody's going to have one of those, so we're just going to use a couch because pretty much everybody has a couch. So we're just going to wrap the band around one of the legs of the couch. If you have pets that like to get involved, make sure they're not in the splash zone here. But we're going to take one step out, make sure those bands are nice and tight when we start. Similar to the RDL, we're going to be hinging at the hips, keeping that slight bend in the knees. Our feet are going to be right under the knees right in line with the hips. So we're not too wide with the stance, but we're going to push the butt out as we hinge at the hips, keeping that back nice and straight. Then all in one motion, we're going to drive forward with the hips, like we're trying to push our hips through our thumbs and back down. So squeeze the glutes. As we come up, when we're in this bottom position, you should feel a good pull on the hamstrings, but really good for posterior chain. Going 12 to 15 reps there, and then when we're done with that one, that's going to finish off that third circuit. So we're going to do about 30-45 seconds rest there as well. So we finished our leg workouts. Now we're going to go into the core. What we're going to start with is getting that high anchor point for our bands. We're going to go into a high to low chop. So it's sort of like swinging a baseball bat, starting up top, bringing it down and across the body. So I'm going to use both hands, both straps right here. The hand that's kind of doing the chopping or pressing down, we're going to have that hand over, opposite hand's going under. You can interlock or go hand over hand. That's kind of what I prefer. You're going to step out so that when our arms are fully twisted, fully extended out, there's going to be some tension in that band to start. And then we're going to change our body's orientation so that we're kind of twisting away from it, sort of at like a 45-degree angle. That way we can really get some good torque in the core. So you'll notice I'm keeping my arms straight here, really using my mind muscle connection to squeeze my obliques as I do that twisting motion, that chopping motion. We're going to go 12 to 15 reps there. This is really good, again, for those obliques and developing core power, especially in kind of the twisting motion. From there, we're going to go into two versions here. We have a standing or a kneeling. I'll show you the kneeling first just because that one's a little tougher. We're going to bring ourselves down to the knees, walk back so that our feet are up against that door, turn the palms so they're facing our shoulders, rest them at our chest, keeping those elbows in, and then all in one motion, we're going to breathe out, crunch down, breathe in as we come up. You'll notice I go fast on the way down, that concentric part of the movement, then nice and slow on the way up, making sure we're working that eccentric, which is actually where the most muscle damage is done, and that's where, the more the muscle is damaged, the more it's going to have to rebuild. So that's actually what causes muscle to get stronger. With those, we're going 12 to 15 reps. You can do them kneeling or standing. Then we're going to give ourselves about 30 seconds of rest after that. So we'll just go through the two sets of that first ab circuit, and then we're going to finish off with one on the ground and then one standing. So this one on the ground, we're going to go into a resistance band pullover crunch. So we're going to need our bands in our hands. Before we go into that crunch position, we're going to raise those bands up, kind of scoot away so that our hands are just past our shoulders when we're in our starting position. Then all in one motion again here, we're going to breathe out and bring those bands up like we're trying to slap our knees. All right, so with that one, we're going to go, again, 12 to 15 reps, a little bit higher with all of these core activities. Core is pretty much used to stabilize our cells, our trunk, with every movement that we do. So it's really important that we have the endurance for that so we can get into some longer workouts down the road, more intense, and make sure keeping proper form and keeping the spine in alignment, everything nice in neutral position while we're doing our exercises. So 12 to 15 reps there, and then we're going to hop up and go over to our anchor point at the door. So last exercise of the day, finishing off our second ab circuit, we're going to do a Pallof Pulse and then a 20-second hold at the end of it. So starting off, we have kind of a mid anchor point here, kind of right in line with our waist. We're going to step out so that, again, we have some good tension in those bands. We're going to bring the bands out in front of our belly button. We're going to try and touch the knuckles on our thumb to the belly button. So we're going 10 pulses, and then a 20-second isometric hold. So this is really good for, again, developing that core stability and core strength. An isometric movement just means that you're really not moving during the exercise, but it's one of the best ways to build up strength of any muscle. So after we do that 20-second hold, We're gonna rotate, hit that other side, and then give ourselves about 30 seconds of rest before we go into our last round there. But that is gonna do it for our legs and core workout with the resistance band. If you guys have any questions, let me know. If you need modifications, let me know. And hopefully you're staying active, staying healthy, keeping your 6 feet away from everybody. But yeah, hope you enjoy the workout, and let me know if you have any questions.